Do it again.
Welcome everyone back to the Boldcast Reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Oshi episode 2. Incredible show. So excited to see what happens. Check out our reaction episode 1. Holy crap, everybody. Really, really good start. Let's see how the real show is gonna be, because now the prologue is complete and we're getting into the real stuff. So yeah. We talked a lot about what we thought last time, so if you want to hear our discussion on that, check out our previous episode, check out Patreon to get the uncut for this episode, and to get uncuts for future episodes of this shows and all the other seasonals we're doing, all the other shows we're doing, and you can get the uncuts. Good thing about it is you get them slightly before it comes out on YouTube, even though it's like an hour, so it's still kind of worth it, but you really get the uncut, which is really good, because we sometimes have to cut a lot of stuff out of seasonal stuff to get them to be posted. Hope you enjoy. Leave a like and subscribe. Let's go!
1,000 applicants.
Is it to, I guess it's to join a group?
She's really going for it.
Big audition. I guess people don't know.
No, I was gonna say, because it would be a good, like, oh, the daughter of this dead person.
Your singing is a bit...
No.
I hope she makes it. 2 secrets.
See, the show could have just started from here, and it would have been the same. I love how she still calls her mom, and he never does. I don't need school. Genius.
Oh, that's what the guy said. That's what the director told him. Like, it's okay to have dreams about it, but don't have delusions about it.
Yeah.
Oh, is he even trying to be an actor, or is he going to try and be a producer? Because that's what they mentioned that in their little conversation.
Oh.
Oh!
Everything just kind of fell apart.
Influencers.
She just wants the fast track. That's a lot of fucking work. That looks good.
She doesn't believe in her?
Yeah, or she's scared. If that's her child, she doesn't want her to get killed by a crazy stalker too. I don't know if she already knew. Or if she's like blocking it somehow so that she doesn't get into it.
I don't think so.
That would be really sad.
Oh, maybe you're right. Wow. Okay.
Wow. That's really shitty.
He's trying to protect her. Siscon. These characters are so good though. Yeah, but these characters are so goddamn good.
Oh, and she's like
scouted.
No, what's he gonna? Yeah, they both don't want it. Oh no. Yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't block her from getting scouted into real stuff if you're worried about this, because she's gonna try no matter what.
I love that screen. What is he trying to do here? What's the plan here?
Oh, there.
Oh, he's waiting outside.
Who works there, yeah. That'd be so horrible.
Yeah. Transport and makeup? Maybe you guys should start up an idol group again. At least you can keep an eye on her.
日そんな噂が立つようなグループにルビーを入れるわけに。
じゃあどうするの？
やりようはいくらでもあるよ。探偵雇ってね。
そういう冗談は。
冗談じゃないけど、俺はルビーにアイドルやらせるつもりはない。少なくとも信頼できない運営の。ちなみにどう？今の子本当にやったの？
うちはアイドルもうやってないの知ってるでしょ。仲間を悪く。
Yeah. Immediately
And
just
how
spills
would
all the
Ruby
dirt.
feel if you started hiring, you put together an idol group without her in it?
お疲れ様。
That's when she runs away. Hmm.
ねえどう？可愛いわよ。いい日はおしゃれしなきゃだよね。はあ、楽しみすぎる。あなた本気なのね。あなたがこれから入ろうとする世界は大変なところよ。売れなくて惨めな思いをするかもしれない。表面だけじゃない。私生活で。分かってるよ。クアにも言われたって。ストーカー被害だってそこら中にありふれた話よ。それでも当たり前だよ。やっと私もアイドルに絶対ママみたいになるんだ。
本気か？
本気だよ。ならそのグループに入るのはやめなさい。
Okay.
なんで本気でアイドル？本気ならうちの事務所に入りなさい。
Yeah. And then they can keep an eye on it.
新規アイドルグループを立ち上げます。
Big move.
悪い？よくわかんないけどここに押せばいいんだ。はい。これでルビーはイチゴプロ所属のタレント。なんかしたら訴訟するからね。めっちゃ怖い。芸能界入るために怒らないでよ、アクア。
別に反対してない。
Not to her anyway.
クア君よく来たわね。
監督起きてますか？
寝てるけどいいわよ。叩き起こしちゃ。今日もご飯食べていく？
いえ、お構いなく。
This guy lives with his mom? Or who is that?
おう、来たか。
おはようございます。
いい感じに編集してくれ。
了解。俺はまだ中学生。バイトもできない年だから現場で経験を積むこと。だから監督の下で弟子みたいな形で映画制作の手伝いをさせてもらってる。
なるほど。結局妹はアイドルの道に進むわけか。お兄ちゃん的には。
どこの馬の骨ともわからんグループでやられるよりは
Yeah.
身内が運営なら悪いようにはならないだろう。
ともども芸能の道か。
ともどもじゃない。今の俺は裏方志望。
役者やる気になったんじゃないのか？妹と同じ高校受けるんだろ？
芸能科受ける
Keep an
の
eye
は
on
ルビーだけ。俺は一般か。
Education.
お前が俺に弟子入りしてきたになるって顔してたもんだが。
俺にとって役者というのは単なる手段だ。
It was the only job he could do at that point.
俺の父親を見つけた苦しみを味わわせるための。くしくも奴を探し出す鍵は俺自身にある。体毛や粘膜の DNA 鑑定で特定できるはずだ。
It's so interesting that he's a doctor. Like,
俺には演技の才能がない。頑張ってるが売れない役者っていう世の中に腐るほどいる人間の一人でしかなかった。愛みたいに特別な何かがない。分不相応な目標は持つべきじゃないんだ。
ガキが夢見なきゃ誰が夢見んだよ。やりてえこと諦めるなんて大学生になってからでもまだ早いぞ。20年夢を見続けてる中年からのアドバイスだ。一度しか言わないからよく聞けよ。誰にでも夢を見る権利はある。宝くじだって買わなきゃだ。
死んできたわよ。母ちゃん。今いい話だよ。食べちゃうでしょ。話が終わったら行くから。
oh boy.
俺はもうお前みたいにくすぶってる意見
Just back to it.
こんなに散らかしてからに。あもう早い。
ああ、もう40 40半ばだろ。親元からそろそろ離れたな。
都心に広い実家あると出るメリットないの。俺みたいなやつ意外と多いから。クリエイター。
Yeah, okay.
宝くじも買わなきゃ当たらねえ。もっと自
子
分
供病おじさんの言うことって響かねえな。俺にも愛と同じような才能があると信じてた時期があった。愛みたいには。
あいやいやいや、うるせえな、おさくさんかよ。確かに愛はすごかったよ。本当に特別な人間だったのかもな。愛にはなれないし、愛もお前にはなれない。愛に今のお前みたいなお前みたいに頭の出来が良かったか？
Not even close.
一度や二度の挫折でひよってんじゃねえ。使える武器全部使ってから吐け。凡人面するには10年早いよ。役者やりてんだろ。顔に書いてある。
アクアは役者さん。
なあ、監督。
うん？
俺は。
アクア君もご飯食べてくわよね。お茶はよそっちゃうわよ。
今そんななんかいいこと言おうとしてたところだ。
It seems like, unlike Ruby, he has almost forgotten his previous life. Like he's so invested.
wrapped up
Yeah.
in this,
Like
yeah.
she's doing things because she knows that she couldn't have done it in her previous life and it's a blessing.
Yeah.
But he's doing things just because it's all part of this.
Well, it's all. I think it's because they're all so tied together.
But like he's not viewing things like, oh, I'm a doctor and this is,
Yeah.
you know, I was this person. He's like, I was my mom. Like he doesn't say that. He doesn't call her mom.
Yeah.
But he thinks of her like that.
なんで偏差値40のうちを受けたの？
興奮に惹かれました。
どこで興奮に魅力を感じたの？
Former doctor passes the
Yeah.
medical university exam.
Yeah, he probably doesn't even have to try in school.
I mean, yeah, he's like, at this point, he'd be what, 40? Something like that? In his 40s?
Yeah.
Oh, look who it is. Arima.
Aqua, and she remembers. She still remembers.
Of course
from
she
that
remembers.
Day.
She's got that sparkle in her eye. She didn't have that before.
She looks the same. You should recognize her.
を舐める天才子役。
おお、ここの芸能家だったのか。
よかった。ずっとやめちゃったの。やっと会え
She's just so inspired by him.
入るの？うちの芸能界。
いや、一般化受けた。
Was that the end of the episode? Alrighty, what did you think of the episode? That was so freaking good.
1 second. It was really good. And like I said during the episode, it's like this episode could have just been the start.
Yeah.
They didn't even need that whole backstory. They could, I mean, I'm glad that they had it, but they could have just as easily been like, oh yeah, I'm Ruby, and I was reborn as the daughter of this idol, and then she got murdered, but now I'm trying to be an idol, and he could be like, I was a doctor, and I was reborn as her son, and then she died, and now I'm trying to track down our father. It's like, they could have just done that, but because of that first episode and like how it just encapsulated everything, it just makes the characters already so strong.
Yeah.
And you're already so attached to them and you understand all of their motivations. I love, I guess the mom, I don't remember what her name is.
Miyoko. I think.
Miyoko. She is awesome. I love
Something
her.
like that.
And then I'm so mad at Aqua for, like, it's his fears are understandable, but it's also really shitty because it's the only thing that she wants to do. And I do kind of wonder if he would still be going as far or feeling the same if he knew who she was. Like, if he knew that she was his patient that he cared so much about and all she wanted to be in her previous life as well was to be an idol, and she didn't get that chance because she already died anyway. Yeah. If he would think that maybe it was more worth the risk because, like, she already died and she was only a kid. She's already older than she was then, you know?
Yeah.
And like, obviously he knows stuff that no one else knows, but it's still just rough when that's all that she's wanted.
Yeah, it is.
and all he wants is to protect everyone and like get some justice. But it's a very complex situation, because for her, this life, even though I died, and it was horrible, it's like it's still a second chance, and she can still make something out of it. For him, it's all about the goal, and he has to complete this goal or else it's for nothing.
Yeah.
He's not viewing this as like, oh, now this is my second life, where instead of being a doctor because I need to make money or whatever, I can like follow my dream of acting, or, you know, express myself creatively like I didn't have the opportunity to do in my previous life.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting how differently they kind of view things, and how how Ruby is is embracing the second chance and embracing even their new mom, and all that, their relationship. That's one thing that struck me, and I was like, that's kind of weird that Miyoko, or I forget if that's her actual name, she mentioned seeing Ruby as like her actual daughter, but she didn't say anything about Aqua. I'm sure she has very, very strong feelings. She raised Aqua too, but their relationships, just like the way they're talking, it's like they're both like concerned about Ruby. Like it doesn't seem like she is concerned in the same way about him, because he's very capable and he's very smart and self-sufficient like that. You know, just the way that they talk doesn't seem like the same way that Ruby and she talks, you know.
It's interesting. I think it's because of the age difference. Like, Ruby was kind of behaving her age, but especially after Aqua gained all this information, he was thinking about it as late 30s man thinking about this situation, rather than like a child, whereas Ruby was still just, you know, kind of living in the moment, and, you know, wanting to hang out with her mom and just be a normal kid.
Yeah, well, it's
it is interesting how she was able to just like lean into being the child of whoever role, and for him, because he was so focused, he naturally took on the caretaker role of her, even though in this reality they're the same age.
And which is also a cool piece of conflict as well, because he's taking on that role and he's, you know, acting more mature, yet he is more attached to this life, like we were talking about during the episode, about how like he is way more concerned. Like he doesn't call I mom. He calls her I still, but he is attached to her like it was his mom. Whereas Ruby also feels the same way. Like it's a very complex ball of relationships, but because she's more thinking of this as like a second chance, as an opportunity to live, it's just the way that things like crisscross and I don't know, it's just so complex, and like it's hard to even unravel because it's so complex, and that's, you know, it's difficult to manage like a movie premiere like that for like an anime. Like, it's a lot to buy into, but, you know, especially after watching this episode and seeing that, it was 100% worth it, and even just on its own, it was 100% worth it to have that premiere, and how it's paying off here, and just how strong the characters and the motivations, and again, like the conflicting and paradoxical relationships, and just the complexity of it all. There's so much to chew on. There's so much to think about. It's great. It's unbelievably good. Like I can't believe how much I'm enjoying this. And how much hope I have for it. Like I'm so invested, 100% full on in this. It's just so good, and it's doing everything right on every level. Like the writing, character designs, character, you know, actions and motivations, and you know, everything, every direction. You know, this is a manga adaptation, as we were just talking about Blue Lock. A thing that I was criticizing Blue Lock for was in episodes that haven't come out on YouTube yet, is that like a lot of the direction is just like panel to screen. It's panel to screen. It's just remove the speech bubble and just like that shot of the character, make their mouth move, and then scroll the camera up, and that's like the whole direction. In this, I get a lot less of that. I'm sure, like, if I looked at it really, like here, you know, you could probably see a speech bubble up here. You probably see a speech bubble or over here or down here or something, if this was like a manga panel, but it's not as obvious like, oh, this is a manga adaptation and this is, yeah, because there's more flair with the direction. There's more creativity on just every level. It's like they're really trying hard with this, and it's paying off. And I can see this going really well as long as, you know, the quality is consistent. And if we're using Kaguya as a sort of model for this, then if they're putting the same resources into the production as they would for Kaguya, then, you know, I don't have anything to worry about. And it's I love it. I love this so much. And I love that it's like I was talking about the evolution of the author, like in the last discussion. The fact that that's the same level of quality, but like a completely different type of story, that's hard to do. Like authors will develop and get better at doing the same thing and make that more complex. But to go to a different type of story completely, way more supernatural. First of all, Kaguya is not supernatural, and you know, just completely shift, but bring that level of, you know, consistency and intricacy and detail, and both visually and story-wise, it's incredible. Just
to make it not that cheesy, like, I don't know, and to kind of just accept and or brush past, at least for now, the whole getting reincarnated as the baby thing. Like, we don't know how that works, and I will be interested to see if that does get brought up, and like if we learn either, because there's like two options with that. Either we never learn and like just accept it, and like that's fine, or you explain it well and it like becomes part of the plot and it's good and it's interesting and makes sense, or you can kind of crash and burn with it if you decide to bring it in, but like you haven't fully worked through it in a way that makes sense, and it can just seem kind of ass-pully and kind of shitty. Obviously that hasn't happened yet, but that's like the one thing that I hope does not happen, because you know, sometimes it just gets a little bit silly in these type of things. It
depends
like,
on how it was written.
If you're like a Tokyo Revengers thing where like
it's just the whole supernatural thing is a justification for the plot. Yeah, that's all it is. You know, like any thought going into it past that is ill-conceived, because the only reason that exists is because the story needs a mechanic like that in order for you to tell the story that you want to tell, and everything else is ancillary. In this, it seems like because the prologue was so juicy and fat and how well it sets up the characters here, it seems like it must have been thought through. Like there's so much setup and so much foreshadowing that we don't know what will come to fruition, that it seems like there must have been an end in sight, even if it's not perfect. Like that seems to be like the optimal way to tell stories, is I'm figuring out like long running shit like that. Same happened with Attack on Titan. It's like Isayama has a idea. He doesn't know exactly how he's going to get there, and he wants to leave some breathing room, and that can change along the way, but like the image and the strong like core of it stays true, and there's so much going into it that sort of dovetails into the sort of fated event of the end. And that's kind of the same vibe I'm getting here, where like, you know, maybe Akasaga doesn't know exactly how things are going to work out, but judging by the prologue, there's clearly like a direction, you know, and that's really strong. And you know, the fact that the mechanics may be a big part of that, and it all will come together, it bodes well. And obviously we don't know, but I can only assume.
And they could just not say anything about it, which is fine. Like in
That's fine too, I guess.
They don't give any reason for it, and it still has a super satisfying ending, and it's just a beautiful show. And like I can see something like that, because I think a lot of times it's better to just do that, because we're watching a show. It's not real life anyway. Yeah. So I can just accept that as part of this world, or like some random thing that happened, and you don't have to include more of it, or
you don't have to
expand upon it. Exactly. You don't have to give like Dea became a god, like
a weird physics
change make it all scientific and like really dive into it in something that doesn't really make sense.
It's a really difficult line to ride in sci-fi. It's with fantastical elements, or you know, anything with fantasy or magic, or anything set in real life or in the future that has like a magical element. You can go too far where you get a little bit like just too detail oriented with it, where you just feel like you need to explain everything, when often like a simple explanation that resonates with people is good enough, or no explanation, and the mystery is better than any explanation you can give. And I'm okay with that as well, but it seems like there may be some sort of incorporation in that. Maybe not, but yeah, it's just the setup is so strong. It's like It's one of those stories, like, you ever run into a story? This happened a lot when this is why I think I'm liking it so much, because it reminds me a lot of how I felt when I first started watching anime. There's just a wave of, like, I didn't know that a story like this could be told. Like, that's the feeling I'm getting. Like, when you first watch, like, Full Metal Alchemist or Attack on Titan, it's like, I've never seen anything like this. How have we gone thousands of years and a story like this hasn't been told like this before? And maybe, you know, maybe there's a lot of inspirations that I'm not aware of, and there's a reason why, you know, it's so good. Maybe it's inspired by something that, or whatever.
Like it's flipping things around. Like, obviously in the first episode we talked a lot about how it's like, oh, it seems like it's gonna be this type of show, and then they flip it around and it's a completely different type of show. And
it's just like, with the amount of stories that have been told through the history of humanity, this is praising it, I think, more than any show deserves. This is just how I think about things sometimes. It's not necessarily like, you know, this could turn out to be a shit fest by the end of it. This could be a total ass pull nonsense show by the end of it. I don't know, but like, as far as what I'm feeling and how I'm walking away from this, it's sometimes like when I first got into Game of Thrones, or you know, it's all the stuff that, like, it's giving me the feeling of like, it's hitting a lot of boxes that, like, I look for when I look for a really good show. So it's making me really excited, and that's how I feel sometimes. It's like, I get into something and you can tell it's quality, and it's just so unlike the other things that you've ever seen that it's like, how is it, like, how are we still finding new things?
Like, yeah, like, it feels very fresh.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's this kind of reminds me a lot of when we started our channel. We talked last time about how it's very Angel Beats,
Jun
Maida-esque thing. And I mean, as we know, that can kind of be good or bad depending
on the author,
on how it is.
Yeah.
But what gives me hope is that it just feels like there was so much thought and so much care put into the making of this, that I feel like I just feel like it will be good the whole way.
Yeah.
Regardless of how it ends, or like if you like the ending or whatever. But it feels like it's gonna be good, and it's been really good so far. And it's kind of nostalgic in a way. Like,
it feels like an early
it's very simple,
2010s anime.
But kind of crazy at the same time. And like the characters all have really great designs, and I don't know, like it's just blending a lot of things really well.
It's just good on every level, and it shows like it just shows confidence. That's what I read from it. It's like I can feel the confidence of of like the production staff. Like there must have been somebody in the production staff who were like, I read this manga from this guy who wrote like one of the best rom-coms of all time, you know, series. And my God, you guys, this is the shit. We gotta make sure that this gets what it deserves. And because I don't know, like sometimes things will have a good premise, and it's just there's no confidence in like that it will work out, so they don't throw everything they can at it. That's what happens with Berserk with its adaptations. It's just like it's a little bit too edgy or a little bit too crazy, but you know, it has a fan base, so we'll put it on, but we don't have the confidence that it's going to work out, so we'll just rely on the fan base that it's going to that they'll like it regardless of how the quality. Whereas with this, they're like, this is a quality starting point, this is a quality premise from an author that is proven. Let's give it what it needs and like treat it like it will work out, and what can we do to elevate it to the best possible. Because like, yeah, like I said, every strata of analysis, this is like a super high quality experience. And for those who see, people say we're just critical, we're, you know, people say Bullcast just shits on stuff, they don't know how to like anything, they don't know how to enjoy anything. It's what I said in the now show that we can't mention anymore that's off our channel currently. You know, comparison is the thief of joy. I've always said that that's bullshit. That's only true if you're watching garbage.
That's worse, exactly.
That's worse than something that's good. Not everything needs to be a 10 out of 10, but you know, yeah, it's just, not everything needs to be perfect. Not everything needs to be as good as Redacted X Redacted, or you know, whatever show you hold in that high regard. But you know, being critical and comparing things allows you to appreciate things. Like, I don't think I would appreciate this nearly as much as I am right now if I wasn't as critical as I am and able to see all of the different aspects that are being highlighted and respected here. I'm just so excited for this, and it's such a breath of fresh air, and I feel like it's something we really needed personally in our lives right now. Just something that we can really believe in.
Really like it as well, because I think like we just watched the first 3 episodes of Hell's Paradise, and like in that one there was a lot of really strong elements, a lot of elements that we really liked, but then there were some things that we noticed and we were like,
that's
okay,
worrisome.
This is a little bit silly, and I hope that they don't like expand upon that, and I hope that they instead expand upon the really good things.
Yeah.
And it kind of seemed to be going in that direction in the 3rd episode.
Yes.
In the 2nd episode, it was like, okay, they seemed like they just added these things to try to whatever sell better. But in this, I'm not having any of those moments where I'm like, oh, I see why they put that in there, but I don't really like it.
Yeah.
It's just like everything is kind of necessary and part of the story, and all the characters are consistent and should be there. We don't have any like extra people just hanging around just being silly so far, you know. And I mean, that could change, and that's not the end of the world.
Yeah, we're about to meet a bunch of the side characters, so that'll be a significant impact. But you know, I'm not super worried about that in this, because it's Akasaka, and every character he makes I've enjoyed on some level. So you know, the fact that again, it's from like a proven
that's
author.
the other thing, is like we know that like in Kaguya, all of the side characters, no matter how big or small, are interesting on some level.
And they don't overstay their welcome. They stay like, there's some characters who are side characters that don't have a name really, or are mentioned once their name, and they're there for a few jokes, and they're kind of off to the side, and that's okay.
Or there's some that like
they play their role,
and then like fade into the background and then come back, like, you know. Or there's some that are like there a little bit, and then they get into a bigger role when it suits the story.
Yeah. So you know, and that comes from, you know, having a proven author and having somebody who knows what they're doing. And yeah, I have the utmost confidence in this, and that's something that I can't say for a lot of different things. And it's super refreshing just to be like taken on a ride where I don't exactly know what's going to happen, and I'm enjoying every aspect of it, and the whole aesthetic of it, and like not just what's happening in the story, not just the setup and like, you know, what could happen later, but like again the themes and the meta aspect of it being the type of thing the exact type of thing that would appeal to the audience that they're criticizing and to the industry that they're criticizing. It's like they're doing everything proper to appeal to those people. And then maybe if you are like a big otaku or, you know, incel type guy out there, I can see somebody like that watching, and maybe that this holds up like a mirror to them. Not that everyone is a stalker who like will go and stab their favorite idol, but just like the flippantness, the like the parasocial nature of it, the like not seeing people as people, seeing personalities as products. Like that whole thing, it's appealing to that in an honest way, but also criticizing it in an honest way. And that thematically and subtextually, or I guess not even, it's I guess metatextually, not subtextually, is interesting and good, and shows that's not these things aren't accidents. Like it shows skill, and it shows confidence in the material. So it's cool, and it's I can't say enough good things about these first, I guess, 2 hours of content. Yeah, and that's another thing that I love. I'll say it again. I love that first episode being so long, because I feel like that also, like, because you said confidence, and I feel like that's the perfect way to describe it. It's like I feel like even that shows confidence, that like they know people will sit through that long of a thing, and that they'll be hooked. Yeah. And just to make that move, because so many shows could benefit from that. And then they don't, for some reason or another, they can't or don't do that. And it is a shame. And I just feel like, and the fact that then they did that, and then this next episode was on the same level of quality. It wasn't like, oh, we put all of our budget into this movie length thing, and then the rest of the show is garbage. Yeah, I noticed that with the OST as well. Like in this background, just going in the background of scenes, it was the OST is being used really well. It feels like the tracks really fit what's going on. That's another thing, comparing another new show like Blue Lock. I know it's not, you know, it's not meant to be this like high quality thing. It's just supposed to be fun. But like as far as because I think the Blue Lock's worst point is its direction. I think that the direction could be a lot better in Blue Lock, and it would make up for a lot of the criticisms that I have with it personally. And that's the thing that I've noticed in that is, and the only reason I'm picking on it isn't because for any reason other than we just recently watched it or have been watching it, is that like the music is often like you could be using the music to build to this like crescendo or to elevate this moment. Instead, it just feels like you slapped whatever ambient track that fits like this intense kind of moment, and you know, it kind of cuts off at the right time when like the big climax of the scene happens. But it's not like you know, the in this it is a good example of what I talk about a lot with Attack on Titan, where it's like the storyboard is written with the edit in mind, and that's good. That's the epitome of good direction, is when you're thinking about what song could be playing, what part of the OST, what kind of
what emotions
flow
are we eliciting?
Yeah, and like what are my options,
scenes?
and like how can I write this in a way that like would make sense with the soundtrack and with like the style of the show, and it's you need a visionary director.
Can you look who directed this? I'm curious.
Let's check it out. Directed by Daisuke Hiramaki. Wait, what? Ergo Proxy. Key anime, let's see. Episode director for Shirobako. That's actually interesting. I can kind of see that. Oshino Ko. Soccer Quest. I'm not seeing a lot of direction credits that I recognize, but there's a lot of shows that I recognize. Key animator. And see, that makes sense too if they're have a lot of key animation credits going on to direct. Seems like it's kind of a directorial debut. They were a key animator for
there's
Shippuden.
a few like episode directors, but
yeah, episode directors. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, but not for any like large shows. Key animation for Gurren Lagann. That's actually interesting. And Bakuno, Ergo Proxy. Sort by members, sort by score.
it's crazy how good of a score this show has right now.
It happens every season.
I know, but like even if you look at the Demon Slayer season right now, isn't as high as that.
Yeah, I mean it's insane start. And yeah, Gurren Lagann. I could see Gurren Lagann with the style.
Oh, Bunny
well.
Girl.
Bunny Girl, yeah.
Storyboard
for episode 5. What episode? What's Bunny Girl episode 5?
Because this is kind of like, it does kind of remind me of Bunny Girl a little bit.
A little bit of that. There's some overlap in some way. Oh yeah, this one with this girl with Koga. Not my favorite episode.
No, I was gonna say, I was like, oh, maybe it'll be a good episode. No,
not quite. Anyway, yeah, it's just I'm loving every second of it. I'm loving every second of this. I'm so excited to see where it goes. It's gonna be a treat, and I could see this. You know, if depending on how well the quality keeps up, because that's a big thing too. It's not just how good it is now. It's can they maintain this consistency for however long the season's going to be? How long is the season going to be?
I do love how they have it like that.
11 episodes with the 2-hour first episode.
Yeah, well that's
or hour
11, and then it'll be like 12, 13, 14, 15-ish.
15-ish, yeah, 14 to 15 total
episodes,
which
which is just exactly what we
we
say
mentioned it
every
last
time.
We mentioned it last time. We talked about this. We first kind of discovered it with JoJo part 2.
JoJo and Angel Beats, like all of those type of stories. We always thought like, oh, if Angel Beats just had like.
But JoJo's, I was saying as an example because part 1 and then
right
part
thing,
2, because part 1 is 9 episodes and then part 2 is the rest of the season. So that would be like 15, 16 episodes, and then. That was like the perfect length for that story, and you know every story is different obviously, but we always talk about that, how like Demon Slayer, for example, you get to episode 19 or 20 and the season should just end there, but then they just keep going for like 5 episodes of nothing, and then there's like also a few things before that could be cut out. Seems like about 16 episodes is good, and then you see now that they're doing the movies, they do the movies, and then that's like 6 or 7 episodes, and then you get the rest of the season, like something around there. So yeah, you get like that full package of around roughly 12 to 15, 16 episodes for like an arc, and that's usually a really good number. Yeah, because we're all stuck in like, this is a season, which is 11 or 12 weeks, and then this is a season, 2 cores. It's anyway. So yeah, I'm happy with the length of this. It bodes really well. I bet it'll be a crazy cliffhanger at the end of the season, and I'm so excited to wait 4 years for the next season to come out. Hopefully they just greenlight the next season instantly. I don't think it is.
No, I mean, I don't know.
It's a little short for like this expansive of a story, you know? Like it's kind of a lot, and they're like, because maybe it's because, maybe I just think that because we're seeing them grow up, and it was just the prologue for most of that, but like they're in middle school now. It seems like maybe they could grow up. There's time to grow up a little bit more. Maybe one more time skip or one more something.
One more time skip to like late high school or something. Or...
Yeah, like this is like the rise for them getting notoriety, and then they have some encounter with their dad and like get some insight, and then it just disappears for a while, and then it's time skips for her becoming an idol or being an idol or being very popular, or maybe she dies or something. I don't know. Or maybe then they see their mom reincarnated, see I reincarnated as somebody else. I don't know. And then the second half, like I could see this being a 2 or 3 season show, maybe, but I don't know how long the manga is. And he actually started another manga recently.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what it's about, but I'm excited to see that adaptation.
Is it like finished or it's ongoing? Well, I mean, be careful.
Yeah, I know. Just don't look. Is ongoing. Fans expect manga to be finished soon. Serialized in Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump, April 2020, and as far as as of January 2023, 10 tankobon volumes have been released. That's a lot. Yeah, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Very interested to see where this goes. Thank you guys so much for sticking around for the discussion. Nice long one, because yeah, I think the show deserves it. It's so fun. It's so great. Yeah. I'm very excited.
I hope everyone watches this show.
Yeah, me too. I know what I'm recommending if people are asking for like one show to watch.
I also feel like I'm glad that this show, and I hope that it like finishes out really well and will be really popular, because then that means like possibly more of this type of show or this quality of show, or like I don't know, just like
if they can see that like this kind of thing pays
popular,
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just the problem is like. The problem is I always think that with something, I'm like, oh, if we can just like show our support, or like if they show it pays off, then either it will just not have no effect, or every mangaka will just be trying to write the same thing, and it'll just be Sword Art Online 2. It's like a
Hunger Games
Sword Art
deal
Online,
where
isekai.
Yeah, or like in like whatever.
YA.
Yeah, it's just like you write the Hunger Games, and it's like, wow, this dystopian fiction that's like a critique of society, and it's this and it's that, and then everyone just like, it just like devolves into just
it's like that's part of it, but you're missing the point. That's not what people really like about it. Like that's not what made Hunger Games like exactly what it is, because then you see a bunch of other dystopian death game stories, and they're just shit. And
it's just like, why did you even bother? This isn't a critique of society. This is just you made up something random and then threw people in there.
But maybe this will be the catalyst for like something new, if it does continue to be like high quality, because it seems to be working off of like the, you know, a classic isekai plot, dying, being reincarnated as blah blah blah, new world, new life, new circumstance, have a second chance, etc., etc. And it's taking that and kind of taking it in an interesting direction. Maybe it'll give the isekai, or the, you know, reborn type genre thing another some more juice,
fresh air.
Yeah, breath of fresh air. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe. Stay tuned next week or whenever the next episode comes out. We'll be posting it as soon as it comes out. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye bye.